Hello everybody and welcome, my name is Ursa Ryan and this is going to be a comprehensive guide on how to get a science victory in DEITY on Civ 6. Now this is being filmed at the end of May, so we've had the first of the Frontier Pass civs being put in. You've got Lady Six Guy down here for instance, so the patches have gone through, the AI behaviour's changed, it's all up to date as of May 2020, so I hope this is going to be good for you. If you want to join along on this playthrough, here are the details. Obviously we're playing DEITY, standard speed, small continents, small map, and the settings I have pretty much left alone, but here they are if you want them, and there are the seeds. Play along, it's actually quite fun if you just sort of play with it and see how it goes. Now, I've already done a science guide, and actually there are multiple other guides. If you go to my channel page and have a look at the playlists function, you can see that there are lots of different playlists to pick. I think I did a DEITY domination one, which was I think went down quite well. I've already done a science guide, but this is specifically a science guide for DEITY mode, because a DEITY game is difficult compared to regular Civ 6, and you do have to treat the game a little bit differently. You know what, I actually think DEITY is easy to beat once you know how, but you have to get your brain in a sort of certain way about how the AI approaches Civ and the ways that the game cheats, because it does cheat. A lot of this is controversial to say, but the AI is not clever enough to beat you in a fair fight, so it has to cheat, right? It is simply put, the way the AI works is that it gives itself bonuses, free text, free units at the start, and essentially gives itself a head start in order to make it possible, in order to make the game harder. So you just have to learn to combat those particular bonuses. Now, why are we picking Japan? Well, I quite like Japan. They're good fun. You can see they have lots of cool different adjacencies. They've got a better factory that gives them culture. They've got some samurai units which are like swordsmen but really cool. Divine Wind, the extra combat strength on coast tiles and on shallow water tiles is interesting. And encampment, holy site and theatre square districts built half the time. Well, it is really useful, but for our science playthrough it is not going to be super useful. This is effectively what we're going to kind of be running with, the Menji Restoration. Now, you don't need this ability. You can win a science victory with any civ. When it comes to DEITY, you kind of want to... I mean, yeah, you can do it with everybody, but the reason that science is particularly suited to Japan is this Menji Restoration. The districts receive an additional standard adjacency bonus from being adjacent to another district. It means that the most important civic in the entire game, which is this one, rationalism, right? Extra science from buildings and campuses. If 50%, if the population is 10 or higher, we're going to get 10 population in all of our cities. That should be easy enough to do. And 50% if the district has at least 3 adjacency bonus. Now, that is really important, because the campus can get a barrage of buildings in it. The library, I think, has +2 science. The university has +4. And the research lab can get to +8. So that is a total of, do the mental maths, 14 science. So with a good rationalism card, so here we go, if that's 14 science, we can pump that up to 28 science per city, plus the extra 3 from adjacency. Each city can give us about 30 science. It makes a huge difference, and the entirety of our playthrough is going to be running through in order to obtain brilliant results from this rationalism card. The district has +3 adjacency bonus. We're also going to be slightly earlier in the game using natural philosophy, which is a really good policy card as well, because it gives adjacency bonus on campus districts. This is awesome. And if every single one of our campuses has got a +3 adjacency bonus, which is what we're going to be aiming for, well, it builds up really quick. So this is literally just the first map that I've been plonked in. You can actually see that, you know, there is some tundra. Tundra's not great, tundra's pretty useless, but there's a lot of mountains here, which is quite good for the campus district, which is the most important district we're going to be focusing this game on. I mean, you could play as Korea or as the Mayans because they have replacement campuses, but the rest of us mortals have to deal with regular campuses, and there are a few things you need to know about them. They get adjacency from additional or sort of adjacent district tiles and government plaza tiles. That is always the same. If you put a campus down on a tile, say here, and then put a district on all 6 tiles around it, it would have +3. So that's one way of getting +3, but it's very, very inefficient. The government plaza gives an extra +1. That's really good, especially in your capital, or wherever Pingala is. The government plaza can really give you additional science, but you can only build it once. So it's not really very, very good. The most important thing is these mountains, +1 adjacency from mountains. So you can see already my campuses, I've got a few mountains to play with. This tile here, I suspect that this is going to be a campus, a mountain tile. So that might give us already on this tile here a +3. Which is a really, really good thing. Don't forget, normally it's you get +1 adjacency for every 2 districts. I'm getting +1 for every adjacent district because I've got Menji restoration, which is really, really, really cool. But those aren't the best adjacencies. Nope, they're all hidden down here. Geothermal fissures and reefs also give +2 science. That is really, really, really handy, and you need to keep an eye out for it. Geothermal fissures pop up in sort of all kinds of random places, and reefs as well, especially in the center of the map. You can see I am probably down south on this map. We've got a small continents map, so I'm expecting maybe one other person on this map to be on my continent, and then maybe little islands in other places. But yeah, because I'm at the bottom of the map, I'm not going to have many reefs. The reefs spawn normally in the sort of equatorial area, right in the middle of the map. Okay, so that's the most important district. We've got to keep campuses in mind. Very, very close second, if not arguably more important, is the industrial zone. And it's especially important that we get a really good industrial zone in the capital, because that's where we are going to be plonking the spaceport. Spaceport is really, really expensive for production. Like, this base cost is absolutely mental, and the projects don't get any better on top of that. All of the projects that you get from your science, such as Launch Earth Satellite, I mean, that, for instance, I believe is like, it's not going to tell us, but it's about a similar production cost. Moon landing's even worse. Mars colony is even worse than that, and the exoplanet expedition, which you've got to do up in this future era tech, or get all the way up here, is even worse. So you need a lot of production. It's also useful production for various other things. Obviously, production builds army. We're going to need to fight some people and get a defense and build all the campuses in the first place and all the buildings. So yeah, industrial zones are really, really important. Very, very tied to industrial zones are aqueducts. Aqueducts you can get one of in each city. It gives you loads and loads of housing, but the reason they add up together is because your industrial zone is given +2 for each adjacent aqueduct. And what we're going to be doing, and this kind of stacks up a little bit better, so we're going to see some better results with Japan, but you can do this with any civ, is we're going to be building an effective diamond pattern in order to obtain really, really good industrial zones. Now, let's say, for instance, this, it's difficult to say, actually, you know what, we can probably do this as an example if we kind of ignore where we're actually going to settle. So I'm going to just put some text down to give you an example. Let's say we have a city here, and we have a city here. So we're ignoring everything except the river, because obviously we wouldn't necessarily settle on that rice. That would be totally pointless. Now, if we were to put an aqueduct here, which is along the river, we're allowed to do that, and put an aqueduct there. What we've effectively done is our cities are 4 tiles away from each other, but we've got an aqueduct arrangement to give 2 industrial zones, here and here, that are now adjacent both to 2 aqueducts. Now, we can give the cities a little bit more space around the other sides to make sure they've got the tiles they need to work, but having cities built in this sort of 2-city formation along rivers and using mountains to do this is really important, because suddenly this industrial zone now has +5, +2, +2, and then another +1 for having 2 districts adjacent to it. In fact, actually, Japan is going to be even better. We're going to get +7 because it's going to be 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. So that's +7. Doesn't sound great, but it all adds up, because when we get to guilds, We can get Craftsman, which gives us adjacency bonus of 100%. So already our +7 industrial zone is going to be +14. You then get all of the buildings like workshops, which give you +3 production. You've got factories. Where are they? Electronics factory, sorry, which gives you another +8 production. But the coal power plant, do you see this? Bonus production equal to the adjacency of the production bonus. Now, if I've got a +5 industrial zone, that's been doubled to +10. That coal power plant will then give another +10. So our industrial zone, without even taking into account the factory and the workshop, that will already be a +20. If I'm using Japan, and I've got +7, it would be a +28. Effectively, the adjacency bonus on industrial zones is times by 4 by the time you get to industrialization. So we've got to keep an eye on that. We really, really want our cities to be in this sort of amazing diamond pattern where you've got city, city, aqueduct, aqueduct, and then 2 industrial zones keeping them together. So that's the basics of it. Campuses we want in every city that we can get, and probably a +3 in every city we can get, and population 10. Aqueducts I want to see built in every city, and realistically I also want an industrial zone in every city. Spaceports, you actually don't need more than a few. I would recommend building about anywhere between 2 to 4. You want 2, just in case one happens to your capital and someone nukes you, or the sea swallows you up, or something ridiculous like that. You want a couple, but 4 ideally, because once you get all the way down to here into the future era, you can do things like the Lestrange laser project and the terrestrial laser station projects, which boost the exoplanet mission later in the game, and you want to be able to have a few spaceports in order to boost those projects at the same time. These things are really, really, really heavy on production though, and realistically your capital, and specifically wherever you've got Pingala and Magnus. Pingala because you've got the Space Initiative where you get 30% production to all space projects, and Magnus because the vertical integration means that you start stacking all of the factories that are sort of in your adjacency, so you can get some crazy production on these 2 cities. So 2 spaceports probably, and if you've got a couple of other better cities, then you can kind of add those together as well. Holy sites are not needed for science victories. Unlike with culture and diplomacy and sometimes domination, where holy sites are obviously really important, and obviously religious victories, science victories, there is no real use for science, apart from using them to just purchase through great people, but I wouldn't build them just for that. It's only if you've got excess faith that you can kind of chuck at things in order for that. And there are some good religious policies, but generally speaking, the loss of the district slot in a city is worse than the benefits that you get from a holy site. Now, what do I mean by that? Every city can put down 1 district at population 1, and then another district every 3 population from that point. So once I get to population 4, I can put 2 districts down. Population 7, 3 districts. Population 10, 4 districts. Now don't forget, I want every single one of my cities to be population 10, because we're going to be focusing on rationalism. So I'm expecting all of my cities to have 4 districts in. If I think that one of them is going to be the campus, and one of them is going to be the industrial zone, I don't want to choke up another one of my slots with a holy site. You will want one of those policies or one of those districts to be either a commercial hub or a harbour, very map dependent. Commercial hubs probably have better great people and have a lot more raw gold on offer, but harbours are much better on sea maps, because obviously you can build navies and things like that. And whilst we're going for a science victory, we do not want to neglect army, because we do need to kind of spread our wings a little bit and settle onto the map. We'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. But that'll be your 3rd slot, effectively. Possibly an encampment. I'd always recommend putting an encampment in a couple of the more productive cities, because again, things like the barracks +1 production, that's not a huge amount. You know, that's not really worth writing home about, but the armory with +3 production, and then of course the military academy, which gives you +4 production, so that's already +8 production just by having a full encampment by the industrial era. It all adds up and adds up to your industrial zone, but it means you can build armies and corps straight up, which is really, really, really handy. It's resource efficient, it's production efficient, it means that you won't get balled over. Aerodromes, again, you want a couple of these in high production cities as well, because those give you airplanes, and airplanes are the best units in the game, hands down. what other districts? You don't want to neglect theatre squares. You do want a few theatre squares, because if you don't have any, you won't get any culture, and if you don't get any culture, you won't be able to beeline to the Enlightenment. And later into the game, there is some amazing ideology. For instance, is a really, really good one that lets you put campuses and industrial zones into one policy card. That frees up an economic policy card slot for you, because you want both of those, the campus and the industrial zone, both really, really good. You need to get down to democracy as quick as you can, or communism if you haven't got any friends. That gives you more science and production and better trade routes like this. Collectivization, that is a really good card, but democracy gives you the +4 food, +4 production on all trade routes. That is amazing, and stacked up with diplomatic service and Wisselbanken, where you get another +2, you can get trade routes that give +6 food, +6 production to all of your allies. Get 10 trade routes in your capital, you're building space parts really, really quick. So it's important that we get down into the culture, especially because when you start looking at some of these policies later in the game, like this, International Space Agency, +5 science per city-state you were the suzerain of, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. Theatre squares also give a lot of culture very, very quickly. We're not going to be building huge wonders, but if you get like 3 theatre squares across your empire and you fill them up with art museums and you use some of your gold to purchase in great works of art and great works of music and writing, which we're not going to be really getting any of ourselves, we're going to be buying them from the AI, but that culture per turn is a huge increase. It is really, really worth doing. It is important to stress that you should never ever build an entertainment complex ever. They are useless until you get to natural history and you unlock water parks. Then water parks and entertainment complexes are just about viable if you build the zoo in it, where you can get an amenity that spreads to all 6 cities around it and gives you more science on rainforests. So that is actually quite good. But up until that point, and actually hang on, the aquarium is the water park equivalent of that. Until that point, it is not worth building those districts. Then they work a bit like industrial zones. You put one water park down in the middle of all your cities, and then that +1 amenity extends to everyone. Up until that point, if you need amenities, have a look at the resource screen, go down the luxury point, and then trade with people. It's the easiest way to do it. Science is obviously the most important thing we need to be beelining on, but production's really important, gold and trade routes are really important. I kind of want one trade route being produced out of every city I've got. And we do need to go to war at some point because we need to spread our space. Now, I don't know how much space this map is going to give us. It's only a small map, a 6-player map. So it's not going to be the biggest. I'm used to playing on huge maps where you have massive amounts of space. Generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, people always ask me this, how many cities do you need in a game of Civ 6? It's not so important lower difficulties, but now that we are on Deity, in order to keep up with the AI, you need approximately 2 cities for every single player in the game, including yourself, +2. That's a rough rule of thumb. So if you're playing on a 4-player map with friends, 10 cities is a good rule. On this map, we want 14 cities. If you're playing on a huge map, that's 12 players, you want about 26 cities. Generally speaking, it's a pretty good rule of thumb. Now, that might seem like a huge amount of cities, but and it is. But Civ 6, there isn't a science penalty, a civic penalty on having lots of cities. You know, it really is spam as many as you can, get as many cities as you can, and you'll do fine. It is well worth just getting as many cities as you can. Really, really important that. So, turn 1 tactics. Always look for your 4-yield tiles is the most important thing. You want as many 4-yield tiles near you as possible so that in the early stages of the game you're working something decent. Now, I like a rice tile because that can obviously be improved, not only by the watermill when we get down to that, that gives it another +1 food, but you can also stick a farm down on it and that'll be a +6 food tile. That's really, 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 really good. However, we don't need to just, just focus on that purely. We do need to think about things like, so obviously a stone tile, that would give us a lot of production later in the game. It may also give us a bit of an industrial zone adjacency, because that puts a quarry on it, although that's not what we need to be focusing on. You've also got your warrior, who has 1 turn of movement in him. Generally speaking, I would follow rivers. Rivers are really important because of the fresh water they give, and you kind of want to be sending your person up and down these rivers where you can. So we'll just quickly plonk him up here and just see what we've got. And you can see, yeah, already there is a luxury resource here. Now, again, we kind of want to be thinking about where we're going to be putting our cities in order to get some adjacency in, and you can see the marble. These luxury resource tiles you can't settle on top of. Oh, so you can settle on top of, you can't put districts on top of. So I'm thinking ahead, and I'm thinking, where do we want to put the industrial zone in order to get a good combination where we can have two industrial zones next to each other? And I'm thinking I actually might need to put my industrial zones back a little bit further than where I would be thinking of doing. If I were to put my city here, for instance, sorry, on this tile where it's settled, and I put my aqueduct, say, here, that wouldn't work because I could put another industrial zone. Yeah, these luxury resources kind of block it, annoyingly. So I'm tempted to move my city back one tile. I could then put a city on the cotton and put an aqueduct here, and then I could have an aqueduct. Yeah, so actually this looks a little bit like, if I just do this quickly, if I put my city centre here and go bump, 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 like so, I could go aqueduct, aqueduct, and if that's only one, yeah, that's only one aqueduct, isn't it? Let me think about this. Yeah, short of moving my capital away from all of the river and all the good tiles, because I've started in the tundra, it's unlikely that I'm actually going to get my capital in on one of those industrial zone aqueduct sort of mixes. So we're going to settle our capital here. I quite like this food tile, and then we've obviously got this tile within a turn as well, so that's not too bad. There's no luxuries to settle on top of to get the additional gold or culture. Yeah, we're going to just plonk in place here. Now, oh, you can see, look, we've got another mining resource. Actually, there is a little bit of an opportunity here. If I get the campus and plonk it next to that space, I build the aqueduct, say, let's have a think about where is going to be best. That's a really good space for the industrial zone, because I'm going to have two quarries here and here to give it adjacency. I need the aqueduct there, like so, and then possibly we'll build the government plaza like down here, depending on what that tile is, and that'll give a good adjacency bonus for this campus and this industrial zone. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure about that. Yeah, maybe the capital doesn't have to be your best city, remember. It can just be a random city. Now, monuments are vitally important. If I'm going to have 14 cities, and I've got a monument in each one, that will give me another 28 culture per turn. That's huge. That's like having several theatre squares in the early game that are fully stacked and full of great works. It's really, really, really handy. Do I need to get a builder super early? Well, not necessarily actually, because there's nothing that I can farm until I get this bonus resource, and even then I've got to wait until my culture sort of expands a little bit. So I think in the early game you want to get the first government as quickly as you can. Is it worth getting the double scout star in order to go and see the map? I mean, realistically, we kind of want to settle and see where everything is. I also want to get a settler out as soon as possible. You can see actually we've got a lot of food coming into the city so in 7 turns we're going to have in 7 turns we're going to be able to put a settler down. I'm actually going to go for the warrior start. 8 tiles. I prefer warriors over scouts. Scouts are really good, they can help you explore the map, but a warrior does the same thing, and a warrior scales better later into the game and is at least a little bit more army that we can throw around. I don't want to put a slinger down just yet, although we will get lots of slingers later into the game. Once we've done that, we're going to focus on getting a settler out really, really quickly, the quick settler rush. What am I going to be teching towards? Well, writing. I need to get the early game things as quick as possible, so we're going to go for pottery, followed by writing. What am I going to save my gold for? Well, I'd like to save my gold for a monument and use my gold to buy monuments, but we will see. People do save the settlers, gold for settlers, but I would rather not wait that long. I would rather have the settlers so expensive in gold because I've been, building as many as I can. For me, that's a better scenario. Builders, yeah, builders is probably worth the gold as well, but again, you can build those pretty quickly with policy cards. Monuments you can't rush with policy cards, so yeah, that's fine. Right, this warrior is going to stick to the river where I can. I want to go and see if I have many other places to settle, and following the river is not going to be a bad option. There's more mountains up here. That's really, really good. Again, we're keeping an eye out on city spots where we can put 2 cities down next to each other. Oh, a city-state. Here we go. This gives me +4 gold per turn, which is really, really good. And Cahokia Mounds, it's okay. They give gold, they give amenities, they give housing. It's not the best city-state to find, but actually having a city-state so close is not a bad thing. And actually we can skip through its borders nice and quickly in the early stages of the game. Let's keep an eye out for what they want. They want to train a galley. You do a quest in the beginnings of the game, you can very easily make a friend. You can see, look, the river kind of goes up here, but there's not a huge amount of space, is there? It's not the best. Let's just move you to here. Actually, the river does go a little further than I thought. I don't know how big this island is going to be. There's the sea. Okay, so, you know, we're going to keep an eye on that. Maybe the city is not a city to keep. Maybe we can just actually end up taking on that city. And there we go. Actually, it's worked the extra production tile first. That's fine. You know, getting the extra food is obviously quite handy, but this is really handy because it means we can pump that settler out in 11 turns. Let's get this warrior heading over in this direction. Just go and see if there is an aqueduct that we can put down over here, actually, that might do the same thing. We might be able to get away with it. So there's pottery. That means we can build granaries, of course. Now, animal husbandry is often good to get at the beginning of the game because as soon as you stick horses down, it gives you more production because those things appear everywhere. But I don't like horses going down too early because it means sometimes, I mean, always, the horses have plonked themselves right where you were planning on building another tile. So we'll keep that for now. We're going to go just straight to writing. Now, this early stages of the game, I'm letting my warriors drift out quite wide because I want to meet somebody else. I mean, I hate DEITY AI. They hate you immediately. The relationship you get. Oh, build a unit. Oh, nice. Okay, that changes things. If I've got a 3 builder, then realistically I want to go towards mining first and then writing, because then I can stick 2 quarries down on these 2 tiles. Yes, that's not bad actually. And then this builder, I'm just going to move over to this resource over here and get the extra. I might just buy the tile in. How many turns? 9 tiles until I get it. Yeah, I see. That's... Damn, I kind of wanted the boost to writing rather than the extra builder. That's good. Anyway, to say what I was saying before, the warriors are going because I need to meet someone as quick as I can to get the boost to writing. That will save me the time back again. Okay, we'll move to here. Oh, there's a scout over in that bloody direction. Ugh, rubbish. Oh, good. And he's going to go and report back to a barbarian hut. Right, come on, warrior, back you come. I am going to just do this quickly because this puts a 5 food tile into my capital, which is really, really good. It'll only lower my production for a little bit, but it keeps Kyoto nice and populous, which is really good. Oh, tribal hut. Okay, if you're ever unsure what to do, God King. Always God King. Pantheons are so good. You want one. Always go for God King. And then discipline. Never get survey. I mean, why do you want your scouts to be slightly promoted? It's totally pointless. It just doesn't do anything. What's in the hut? Oh, knowledge of writing. Well, there we go. You see? It was meant to be. We are going to boost all of the tiles, so craftsmanship is going to be boosted for us. Where do you want to go first? Well, realistically, the government plaza can stack. You can get Magnus in or Pingala in early game because you've got an extra governor title. You get the extra adjacency. I honestly think it's worth going to state workforce first, especially because on a science playthrough, we're going to be rushing the campus through. So that specialty district should be boosted as well. Always, I mean, boosts and inspirations and eurekas. It is just so important to focus on these. Play a game as China if you're not sure about that, because you'll just see how much it's worth it. But yeah, there we go. So we're going to get the boosts. We're going to be making sure that we never work a non-boosted tech if we can help it. And you can see actually irrigation has been boosted as well, which is really, really handy. We're not going to get wonders. No point in doing anything like that, but it's definitely worth it. Now, do I want to hang around and fight these barbarians? Well, no. In the early stages of the game, I mean, there are a couple of civic boosts that you can get later. Clear a barbarian outpost for military tradition, so you do want to keep an eye on that one. And then kill 3 barbarians for bronze working, which again is quite important on a jungle start. But this warrior is, I mean, he's going to get... it's going to be a little bit of a pain to fight, and I would rather... Actually, we don't need to rush out. No, because we've already met somebody. Okay, fine. We'll move to the hill. Oh, there's a slinger there. And we'll get the kill. Yeah, and just as I thought, there was a mountain on that tile. Cool. Oh, they did me the favour of attacking me. Brilliant. Right, attack me once more. Get the slinger over. Always be comfortable to defend against barbarians, because the combat bonus you get defending on like a hill or a forest far outweighs any, you know, bonus you would get by attacking yourself. Oh look, they're actually coming to kill the slinger for us. Oh, they're going to attack for us. Wonderful. That gets us the camp. That's military tradition. Extra gold. Extra gold is handy because, again, we're saving up for that monument. So here's my crazy plan, right? None of these cities have fresh water, but they will with aqueducts. That's a +3 campus because of the mountains. This is a +3 just purely because of adjacency. And we've got the aqueducts in. There is no way of getting the perfect aqueduct here, but I can get one in. This city will have a +2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 adjacency. So this city is going to be absolutely hugely productive. And I'm going to stick a city over here as well. My first settler will head over in this direction. There's no point rushing these cities until I've got aqueducts up and running. Although we will put them down pretty quickly. Freshwater is not important, really. As long as you get it at some point, as long as you get builders in to put farms in order to get the the housing and granaries and all kinds of stuff like that. This will do for now. It's a bit crazy, I realise, and it probably isn't the most efficient way of doing things, but you know what, I love it, and that's fine. This works for me. We're also going to keep an eye on that city-state, because if I take that over, I may be able to sort of put adjacency in on that area as well. There's mining. There is the quarry. Let's put that down. Just a little bit of extra production. It helps the settlers go down nicely. Let's chase this scout down. Where the hell are you? And we're also going to keep an eye down on the tundra area as well, because whilst their cities aren't going to be particularly good, a tundra city near mountains still produces a lot of science, and we can't, you know, we can't just rule that out. So here is the settler. Move you. That's a turn 21 settler. That's pretty good. Getting a granary would be quite useful in the city, another builder to make sure the city's growing, but realistically it would only be the marble we'll be putting down. So at the beginning of the game, we are just going to rush through another settler, and then we'll plonk the campus down afterwards. In fact, actually we should get more production very soon to help ourselves do that. Yeah, look, there's more space down here than we thought. This might be quite good. Always remember to escort your settlers. God, the amount of games where I've lost settlers because I've just been a bit lazy. It's never worth it. Right, there you go. Craftsmanship has been boosted. Always get the boosts. And we've now down to 11 turn settlers because this city now has 9 production. Very good. Saving up that gold, we'll get a monument because that doubles our initial culture per turn. That's massive. God, this guy's just been sat on this hill defending whilst the barbarians, like, basically attack him. Always go for Battle Cry over Tortoise. Battle Cry does give you combat strength versus ranged units and melee units, so even ranged units attacking it, you still get that combat strength. It always feels like it's just when you're attacking, but it's not. So when that slinger attacks, I still have the combat strength bonus. Do you see? Look, only 16 damage, it was nothing. That's like, now we take the slinger on because that thing is just going to stand there shooting us all day. Right, plonk, the settler goes down, we've got fresh water, that's very nice. What do you do in the city at first? Well, we'll have to think about sort of putting things down, but realistically, you want to get a campus down nice and quickly, but a builder may normally be a better option because you can improve some tiles around you. There's nothing actually to improve just yet that will make a huge difference for me, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus instead on putting some pins down. Again, not a bad little option, that. So we will... There's a forest here. I could put the campus down immediately on that forest. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Like by popping it here, but I never like doing that because you can always... you can always just... Actually, hang on. What was that? There's a reef down there. Oh, there's a reef on this tile. Oh, that changes things. That's better. Okay, so the campus we do want to stick down on that tile. Okay, so obviously monuments are really, really important. I'm actually going to use my golds to stick a monument down in that city, but for now, we can't get the campus tile, so we'll get a builder in. Yeah, that's not bad, actually. Next up, animal husbandry. Let's just do that, see where the horses appear, see how much of my plan is scuppered. Oh, damn, I lost my warrior. Oh man, a slinger just appeared from... Oh, damn it. That's really annoying. Okay, well, you know, we need to keep an eye on that. Now, craftsmanship is done. We haven't got a Pantheon yet, so God King's not coming out. Discipline, I'd rather have a Gogian, because it means we can build units quicker and actually get some stuff down. Now, the capital, is there any tile within 2 of my capital that really desperately needs to be worked? No. Whereas this city is new, fresh, and has no production, so I'm going to actually put a monument in with this one. There we go, look, that's a better place to get the monument, I think. I'm going to beeline towards state workforce as well. Again, we need to be careful that we're not working into the civic boost. In fact, actually, Kyoto, with its settler, I could be doing that, but 55 gold. Actually, by the time the settler's done, I'll have enough gold to buy that tile. That's actually not bad. So this island is not as big as I thought it was. I guess that's fine. Oh, Slinger, don't you... Oh, you're such an asshole. Just sat there, being a git. Right, you know what? I'm going to have to just get a Slinger in 3 turns, which is really, really annoying. And move my settler out the back way. I think I'll send him to this city spot for now. You can see, I don't think any horses appeared where I was planning on settling stuff, which is both good and bad. It means I've got no horses, but it also means I've got a pretty small island, so I'm not expecting the AI to pop up and kill me, which is quite fun. So yeah, we'll take that as a win. Once you've got writing, you've got to think about the early game techs as such. Bronze working and masonry are really important if the AI is going to attack you. If you've got people close to you, an encampment up with some walls in, brilliant. That keeps you very, very safe. If not, you want to be thinking about heading towards either apprenticeship, which is again is really, really important, or sailing and celestial navigation if it's more of a sea map and you need to get out. We've got some space at the moment, so I'm thinking about learning more towards apprenticeship than I am anything else. Again, once you get to these techs though, like building 3 mines, that's a really important one to do, otherwise you're spending turns upon turns just not getting any science. So we're just going to quickly... Is irrigation worth it? I don't actually know if there's anything to irrigate around us. Maybe this one. We haven't actually got that yet. So I would say probably not. Could get a trade route going quickly for currency. Yeah, I'm likely to build a trade route. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, that's right, you arsehole. Ugh, so annoying. Right, let's get the campus in nice and quickly. It's a +3. We've only got 1 turn of state workforce now until actually we could boost that, so we just need to keep an eye on that one. Actually, we're going to go for foreign trade, and then, yeah, that'll stack with currency quite well. Oh, there's another continent. It's actually quite handy. Let's have a look. Oh, yes. Okay, so there's more stuff out that way. Good to know. Plonk 1 more city down. Okay, so we've got 3 cities down by turn 37. Not the best, but it's good enough. It's good enough. We've got some housing in this city as well, which does help a little bit. Now, what do I need to do in this city? Again, I think the most important thing, if you're not sure, is to just get a builder down and make sure that you've got some decent tiles. Again, okay, we're working a little bit extra gold. That's not the best, but that'll do for now. God, that slinger just stood there the entire time, just slinging my capital. Stop it. Archery's been boosted. State workforce, we now need to get rid of that and then work foreign trade, because once we finish state workforce, once we build the campus, that'll boost it naturally. Here is a Pantheon. Always scroll down, have a look, and see if the settler is here. It is. When chosen, receive a settler in your capital. Oh, that's a really good one. And it's still here. Ooh. Exciting times. The other ones to do are pastures, which is really, really good at getting extra culture into the early stages of the game, and plantations, again, for the same thing. I would really recommend those two. Breathtaking appeal is quite fun as well if you've got a lot of breathtaking tiles. I don't. I actually have a lot of charming tiles, which isn't the best. And faith is going to be important, but not that important for me. I'd rather go for religious settlements. That extra settler, this turns the beginning of my game from a okay start to a pretty damn good start, actually. So, yeah, we need to keep an eye now on making sure we get engineering sorted. So that's building ancient walls and mining a resource are the 2 important ones for me here. Do we actually have a resource to mine? Marble. I'm pretty sure, actually, that marble is a quarry. Let me just check about that. Quarry, yeah, so that's not a mine. I think actually we've got anything that's going to be mineable. So in order to work that one off, we would have to find iron. Okay, we've got a rough plan anyway. We've got lots of things we want to do. I could build a city down here. That would be the other place that I could be sending it. Now let's stick to my guns. Pop you here. That'll do. Okay, as soon as that first builder is done, immediately jump on the campus. There's 60 gold to buy that tile, but that's fine. That'll be a +3 campus right off the back. We are also going to think about getting rid of some things that we don't need. So for instance, this woods, we can chop that down and improve, make sure the campus goes down nice and quickly. That's pretty good. Foreign trade, oh good. It means we can get rid of God King. As soon as you get the Pantheon, get rid of it. Urban planning, +1 production to all cities. Nice. That'll do. We'll keep a Gogi for now. Maritime industries is really important once you need a navy. Never build boats without it. That double improvement is huge. And let's get early empire going as well. So our first campus is down, giving us +3 science per turn. That's very nice indeed. Actually, you know what? I am going to keep discipline out just for a sec. No, I want to build army. I don't do that. I'm always tempted to do that, but it's never worth it. Okay, we'll attack you. I need my slinger to get upgraded, so actually getting him into a scrap is not a bad thing. Right, let's settle there. Lovely. This is going to be a rubbish city to start with, so builders are very, very necessary here. Chop that down. There you go. Taking 4 turns off the campus, and then we'll go and improve these 2 tiles up here. First question you've always got to make with governors is whether you go for Magnus or Pingala to start. Now, Pingala is the natural choice on boosting your science early games, because that extra science, and then combine that with researcher, gives you some crazy science per turn, especially in a capital. It's not going to be the hugest population capital ever. Population 5 is nothing to write home about, but that would be another 5 to 6 science per turn, so that would give me up to about 16 science per turn. Which, considering I have overtaken someone in science, which is ridiculous, it's quite good. Otherwise, I would always say go for Magnus, because Magnus gives you provision. Settlers are really, really important. The only problem with that is that we don't have many places to settle on this island. I can pop down another few cities on this island, and again, it's all about getting as many cities down as you can. But do I want to rush Magnus or get Pingala? You know what? I'm actually going to stick to my guns. I would always go Magnus if you can first. So let's stick Magnus down in my capital. We'll go to provision, and then after that, we'll then switch and get Pingala. Yeah, do it in that order. I think that's a good thing. Now, this campus is done. That's wonderful. Next, we need to get a trader going so that I can boost currency. Oh, a dark era. Boo. There's nothing we can do with that at the moment. We're not going to get Exodius of Evangelists. We're not getting a religion, but constructing new districts we are doing. I would always go 3 inquiry, though. Triggering Eurekas is much easier than building districts. Always do that. Now, actually, currency, that's a good point. We're going to switch over now. Let's go for bronze working and see if we can find some iron. This city has no production, so I'm going to just stick a mine down, and then we'll go and get the sheep going. Okay, these 2 cities are very slow to build their builders. Honestly, I think I might actually send my trader over and get another city to do it. Ugh. Because at the moment I was going to send it to my capital, but actually there's not much point. Right, provision. Actually, yeah, surplus logistics. I could help the cities to grow, but the housing is the problem, not the food at the moment. Oh, I love that +5 combat strength on coastal land. Oh, it's just such a little subtle bonus that Japan gets that makes it brilliant. Is there any point in going military tradition? Nope, we're not fighting anyone. Do we need the extra envoy? There's nobody rushing us for Kokia at the moment. So there's no point to do that. So we'll go for political philosophy. We're going to have to do it the hard way, unfortunately, because we haven't met 3 city-states. But I'd rather have a good government. It's worth it for me. Now, let's just have a think about this. Do I want to send it from my capital, keep my capital as the best city? Or do I want to send it somewhere else and help it to grow? I think the routes coming into the capital are probably better, aren't they? I would say, although, I mean, realistically, what am I going to be doing? I kind of want more settlers, don't I? So, You know what, we'll keep it for now. Let's send it this way. That combines 2 of my cities up, which is quite nice. Begin the route. Boosted to currency. Did that not finish currency? No, it didn't. Ugh, it's really annoying. And did we get any iron? We did, under my campus. Oh, nice. Perfect, that's 3 iron per turn. I haven't got to do anything to do it. Oh, actually, no, that's really annoying. That means I can't mine it. Oh, okay, there is some iron here, so it's possible to do some mining later. Okay, that's fine. It's always tempted to build things in your capital in order to get it, like, really pumped, like granaries and monuments, but settlers are also really important. That's kind of the point of this city, isn't it? What am I going to do? There's always too many things to build. I never like building the library too early. Yeah, the science is good, but I'd rather focus on expansion at the beginning of the game. I think the housing may be the important thing here. What we've got? We've got a lot of spare food, so the housing would make a big difference. Fine, we'll get a granary and then we'll get a settler, and then we'll force ourselves to build that settler. That's good. Actually, the civics tree. Oh, we should have switched it round. Never mind. That's fine. Currency's done. Okay, this extra science we've got coming in now does make it handy. Now, apprenticeship. I need to get archery and horseback riding first, but we do have a slinger, we have a pasture, we've got 1 of the mines, so I think actually we've just got to focus on getting a couple more mines. Each of these cities will build 1 mine, and that will boost the civic for me. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's do that, so we'll go for that, we'll go for archery, and then we'll follow that up with irrigation and then horseback riding. 1 more campus done, recorded history, boosted. Lovely. That's 13 science coming in per turn now. Still in 5th. That's not bad. Any game where we're not just rapidly falling behind is a good game for me. Keep an eye on your amenities, because this city is actually, it's got minus 15% just because it's displeased on city growth. That makes a big difference, actually. This builder, you wait here. I just need to make sure I get that Wales in, and then I'll get this cotton in as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, campuses are really important, of course, but I haven't yet worked all these tiles, so I think for now let's get 1 more builder in, and we'll do the same on this city. Yeah, as soon as I get political philosophy going, I'll get the policy card that makes my builders quicker to build. Ilkham, really handy, that one. Only 8 turns away from political philosophy, and we're also only 2 turns now away from getting a monument in, so let's do that. Good. Now my capital is now satisfied, which means it grows at a normal rate, which is really handy. Sailing, yep, that's good. Finish horseback riding. As I say, industrial zones are when the game really starts to take off. That's when you see a lot of joy. So we just need to make sure that that is a thing. There is the cotton. Delightful. Now, I think the best thing to do is to get this monument in first. Okay, good. And then this one will be the next one. Yeah, look at that. Straight for apprenticeship. Build 3 mines. Oh, we're close. We're close to being able to do that. If your city gets to this point, I'm waiting for the industrial zone, and I don't really want to build a library just yet, so get a settler. There's no harm in just sort of getting more settlers than you think you need, because expansion is the most important stage of any game. And, oh yeah, boosting apprenticeship. That's such a good thing to do. Lovely. The Congo. Now, the Congo are really, really good for great works of art. They don't threaten you religiously. Generally, they're pretty peaceful. But you can see just how far ahead the AI is now. They are in 3rd place, and they have 3 more techs than we do, and we've got a heap more science. Oh, wow. Let's have a quick look at this. Unmet player, 22 science points per turn. Congo's only got 1. Okay, so they've only got 1... campus, but they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities as opposed to our 4. We're not that far behind. Don't forget, the deity start with 2 more cities, like 5 warriors and a couple of, well, 3 techs, I think. They just start way ahead of you, so you're always going to be chasing and catching up. This is not a bad start, actually. This is pretty good. Let's farm that resource in. Good, that gives me just +1 housing in that city. That helps. I've got them +1 housing from now this fishing boat and the campus. It just helps. All these little builder improvements we're getting. Political philosophy. Right. Always go for Classical Republic unless you're going to war. Oligarchy, the extra +4 strength is pretty good if you're warring with melee units. Autocracy is just useless. It's really, really bad. Classical Republic. Definitely. The extra housing you get, the extra amenities you get, it really helps. Now, we're keeping this, we're getting income, and we're getting colonialization. More settlers, more builders, more production. It's the triple threat. We're also going to get +2 influence points. There's no point getting monasticism because we haven't got any holy sites. We want to settle, so we can't get this. We're not fighting, that's pointless, and we don't have a religion. So none of the Dark Age policies make any sense for us at all. This is really good though. This means the settlers will come out a lot quicker. So what next? Well, recorded history. In short, we want to dive towards that. So we'll go for drama and poetry. Again, there's no way of building or rushing that one because we don't have a wonder and we are unlikely to get a wonder, quite simply. You can see this is the problem with the deity. It starts with -8 for unknown reason. Send delegation. I cannot say yes. Can't even send a delegation to him. We can try with open borders, which he will take. What sort of deals can we get? Actually, we're going to arm him. What could go wrong with this? Let's give him 20 iron. What would he give me? 5 gold per turn. Hey, that helps put the monuments in the cities. And then 1 time gold, 6 gold. Okay, we'll save until we've got a bit more political power. Oh, he's got a galley. That'll be why. That'll be why he's out and about. Hopefully, though, got loads of amenities in my cities now. +3 means that it's ecstatic, which means it's growing 20% quicker. It's got all kinds of yield bonuses. Yeah, look at that. 20 gold per turn coming in now. That's much better. Much, 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 much better. We like that a lot. Okay, so the builders, you can see I've got a lovely mod on that shows me where I need to be improving. What's it called? I think it's the more lenses mod. It's really, really handy. Get it from any Steam Workshop. All of the mods I've got on, by the way, they are purely cosmetic. Like I've got mods that help the Great Work screen. I've got mods that help the trade screen and the espionage screen when that's unlocked, but nothing actually changes the game. This is just a pure vanilla game in terms of like actually how it runs, so don't worry about that. Okay, capital is doing well now. We've got another settler. We want to just beeline towards getting a good industrial zone, and that means working this tile. So I'm going to get a builder and then followed by a monument. That's 7 turns until we get to apprenticeship. We're saving our gold for Nagoya's monument on top of that. Now this settler, where do we want to put you? North coast? Oh, actually, look, there is some loyalty pressure. Okay, so the Congo must have come from the north, so we do want to settle the north coast just to keep it nice and safe, actually. I would say, although this desert's not very helpful, just keeping an eye out for more reefs. No, unfortunately the only ones we found are offshore and useless for campuses. Okay, so I think it's not going to particularly matter where we go as long as we can build things like aqueducts. So like for instance here, that tile, that works quite well because that means we can still do an aqueduct, and it also means I've got a campus here which is +3 because that's got loads of rainforest around it. So yeah, for now that'll do. Just built a single farm here because that gives me +1 housing. Remember, you get 1 housing for every 2 farms, so there's 1 over here. Just stocks up nicely. Okay, that means Magnus just easily work that marsh down there. That'll be lovely. Now, I think campuses, we've got to start building some campuses, haven't we? So let's just do this and plonk it on that tile there. That's where the best is going to be in a bit. Yeah. Well, we're working for the future as much as everything else. So get rid of that marsh. Oh, that's a lot of extra food. Very lovely indeed. There we go. 1 more city down here. It's Tokyo. Get that campus in. It's lovely. +2 already. Oh, there's no rainforest there, was there? Oh, damn it. Wasn't quite as good as I thought it was, but that's okay. That's okay. We will get to +3. It just needs 1 more district around it. You don't need them to be crazy adjacency. Most important is +3. Anything other than that, or anything more than that, is a pure bonus. And let's just get the campus, buy that tile, get it in. Wonderful. Stick to the master plan, use your tiles, use your tax. We're in a good place here. I've got 18 science coming in per turn by turn 73, 5 cities. We're on the cusp of getting industrial zones. I think we're doing pretty good, actually. I'm proud. I'm proud and I'm content with how this has gone so far. Yeah, we'll just have to run from there. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Scott Stratton for all of the help you give on Patreon, as well as everybody else who likes and subscribes to the video. Cheers, you help keep me going.